Oh my goodness, Luke Holland says that's all on Scotty. His diabolical substitutions at West Ham are what's going to end up getting us relegated. And here's our first hashtag Parker out on Where Clarets Walk. How are you all doing? Welcome back. It's 20 more minutes of Burnley chat. We got Connor, Dan and Jordan fresh back from watching the West Ham game, and they aren't very happy. So if you're a frustrated Burnley fan as well, you're in very good company this weekend. But are any of them joining the hashtag Parkerout Brigade? Let's hope not, but we will find out shortly. Coming up this week then, anger at Parker's subs. Why is he bringing Brozier on, for God's sake? Sacking season, where are you at with Parker? How many more games does he get to sort this out? And we're talking about the Fair Play League as well, just how dirty are Burnley this season in comparison to the other 19 teams. The result of that might surprise you. Stay tuned. Right then, Connor, are you Parker in?
No. Oh, I mean, no, I'm Parker in. I'm going to say Parker out there, no. I'm Parker in. I always will be. Even at the end of this season, if we don't even win another game or get another point for the rest of the season, I'd rather keep him for when we go down because he's the perfect man to bring us back up again with the track record he's got. I love Scott Parker. I'm not as ancient as these two, so he's one of my favourite managers I've ever seen. So, no, sorry, Dan. No, I like him. He's one of my favourites. He's in all the way for me.
All right. That said, though, Jordan, Paul says 18 goals conceded in now 6 away games. We are never going to stay up unless this improves dramatically. And some people's solution to that, Jordan, is, of course, to make a change. Where are you at?
Well, I think it's from learning from last time, and we left it too long with company. So if they are going to do it sooner rather than later. I'm not necessarily in the camp of Parker out because I don't like to be a fictitious person and like go after someone. I think he's done well with what he's got. There's definitely room for improvement, but to call for his head already seems a little bit daft. But yeah, if they were going to do it, which I don't advise them to do it sooner rather than later. And to say we built such a strong team on last season, rarely conceding, it's like a stark wake-up call in the Prem. This was always going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. Let's just try and trust the process a little bit more. I know it's frustrating. I was frustrated watching yesterday's game, but it's part of the process. I think we have to hit these games to learn how to come back from them.
Yeah. I mean, the goals you're conceding, Dan, aren't... They're just soft, aren't they? I think that's what I'm reading. People's take on this is just substitutions are poor. We certainly were yesterday at West Ham, and the goals we're conceding are soft. DGFC says, I think that was on Parker. Baffling substitutions, baffling game management. Why not just keep the foot on the gas? We could have won at half time, for F's sake. And what was your view on it?
I agree with that last tweet. I genuinely do. I'm not very much on the Parker out bus because he's built a decent squad there. You know, he did remarkable last year, having to rejig the squad, taking over from company and whatnot. But the game was there for the taking. You know, he rejigged, he shuffled the pack a little. He put in Chunzebe and Chowner and Ugochukwu in midfield, and they were running the show. We had all the ball, all the possession. West Ham barely laid a glove on us for the entirety of the first half. And in the second half, I know they got a goal right towards the end. It's avoidable. Steve jumps for a header, and I don't want to get on Steve's back, but I'm going to today because he's been too regular now. He jumps up. Walker's screaming at him, leave it, let it go. And he doesn't. He jumps up and he knocks it out for a corner, which is the corner that they go and score for. But then whilst Walker's berating Steve, they're taking the corner. No one's switched on. As the ball comes in, they leave Wilson unmarked, and he goes and nods in from 2 yards or whatever it was. Similar with the second, it's very similar, easily avoidable mistakes, passing going awry. And then Parker, he makes subs. Anthony did nothing the whole game. I know we're not the kind of podcast that gets on people's backs, but we've got to start calling them out here now. Anthony did nothing all game, and he stays on for the best part of it. I know I think he got dragged off later on. But he takes off Ugochukwu, who's our most attacking player. He takes off Chowner, who, again, was having an okay game. And he brings on Brozier. Flying out loud, what on earth is he playing at, bringing him on? He's done nothing for the entirety of the season. So Parker really needs to have a look at himself now and say, why is he doing what he's doing? He got it right for 45 minutes, and then he just got it so wrong. I don't understand it.
Yeah, there's lots of people that echoed that. This is one of the more politest ones. Ollie says, awful decision from Parker to bring on Brozier. Fleming was far more involved, and with his loss, the tempo dropped. Brozier is not a replacement player you bring on to chase a win at 1-1. He does not suit our style of play or offers anything towards goal threat. Please get rid of him. Yeah, as I said, that was one of the more polite ones. Are we? Is this Brozier thing with fans now irreversible? There's just the groans from the stands now when you can see him warming up.
I honestly feel bad for Brozier. I understand he's not been there with his performances, but at the end of the day, we paid 20 million quid for him. You saw in his breakout year for Southampton on loan from Chelsea. We know the striker he can be. It's just, I understand he's not a striker to be chasing the game at 1-1. I fully agree with that, absolutely. I think Fleming's a better player. But when are we going to give Brozier the chance? I understand in cup games he didn't look great, but at some point we've got to bring him on for a bit longer than just 5 minutes at the end. I fully understand he's not that good of a player, but we spent 20 million quid. We can't have 20 million quid being rotting on the bench. I'd love to see him being given a chance. We know the striker he can be, and I know he wasn't that at Everton or Fulham or wherever.
It was shocking.
I feel bad for him, but give him time. And I'll say this every week, but I don't know.
Okay. Jordan, do you look at the league table now and you're getting a little bit nervous, given that you're watching Forest pick up wins and West Ham pick up wins now?
It is worrying because it's one of them things, isn't it? You got to beat the teams around you. Now we have done well as far with things like that, beating teams around us, but it feels like it's more frustrating. West Ham were there for the taking. I think that's what the point is. That is so frustrating from a Burnley fan's point of view. There wasn't a good side yesterday. Every goal they scored was scrappy and poor defending. Realistically, the first one, like Dan said, nobody switched on. Number two, nobody was tracking Souček, and number three, Dubravka's fault really, and he just pushes it straight into that lad's way. And that's really what seals the deal. There is room to panic now because the only thing keeping us out is goal difference, and as it currently stands, I don't know where the goals are coming from to win us a game at the minute. I don't know. I don't see anything to come off the bench at the minute that's going to massively impact a game. I'm so on Dan's side about Anthony. I defended him in the comment section the other week, saying he'll come good. I think I'm starting to eat my words a little bit, as it looks like it's not that he's disinterested. He doesn't look like he can affect the game, and and a byproduct of that looks like he's not on the pitch. He's turning back. He's not running at players. He's not doing what he used to do. I don't know what's going on with him, but realistically, I think he needs dropping. Like I said, we don't get on players' backs on here, but he needs dropping. We need somebody else in that position. We need to start mixing it up a bit because there's too many players in that team at the minute that just think that their position is guaranteed, and it shouldn't be like that.
Do you agree, Dan?
I do. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that it's time for a bit of a shake-up. I know what they were saying about Parker picking his favourites. I don't know who they are, but Anthony certainly seems to be one. Whether we swap him like for like or we take him out and change formation, because if you watch the West Ham game, we didn't do badly, and that's what's more annoying, in that we were controlling that game. If you watch that game, if you look at those stats, you'd have thought that we should have easily been up way before, this should have been an easy away win. It was only in the second half that West Ham started building their stats up in shots on target, shots on goal, whatever. And I think Anthony, he just didn't do anything. He ran up and down the pitch, but he didn't tackle. He didn't really create anything when he got the ball, and the amount of misplaced passes, I stopped counting. He just, three of us have now said we don't get our players back, and then we proceeded to get on his back. But there comes a point where you just think, change it up. And you can't say who would you bring in. You can't say, well, why don't we try Edwards out there? Why don't we try Ben Larson out there, or whoever? Maybe you just drop him and just change the style of play a little bit, or you don't need to fill that position. You can maybe go three in midfield, whatever it needs to be. But he's just a waste of a person. You may as well play with 10.
I agree.
It's Chelsea next, then Brentford and Crystal Palace and Newcastle and Fulham and Everton. Jordan, are you putting on a number on the games he now gets, Parker, to improve this before you'll join the hashtag group?
Well, I'm not going to judge him on the Chelsea game, Chelsea can turn anyone over on the day, and the talent that they have in their ranks is beyond frightening. So I don't think I'll judge him on that. I think I'll judge him more on games that I think we should. It's like, for example, when I hear people saying, "Oh, I'll quite happily walk away from West Ham with a point," I won't. I'll walk away from there with 3 because I know from what I've seen this season, we are the better side and should be beating them, and I've seen the performances they've put in. So I judge him on things like that. So it's a bad hit. Is the weekend just gone? I'm going to struggle to get in that Parkerout brigade. It will take a lot. I'll be quite honest with you because I don't really do that. It's like company. I wasn't company out ever because I just thought, oh well, if we go down, kind of like what Connor said, if we go down, he's a good man. He's proved they can bring us back up, and then he just jumped ship. So I will always struggle to get in the such a body out brigade because I don't think that does there Will much confidence. But no, I think he's got a few more games until I'd say the rest of the fan base start really pushing that, and when they do, they can be pretty brutal with it.
I think Parkerout's a bit early, isn't it? Let's be honest. He's got a decent squad together. He's brought in some decent players. When they're on form, Florentino had a bad game yesterday. He did. He wasn't at his level. But they've got the players there, and we showed that we can compete in this league, and that's what we wanted. That's all we wanted under company. We're just getting flattened every week. So to say Parkerout is disingenuous, you're clickbaiting, you're trying your best just to pretend, tell me you don't know about football, but one of those silly tweets. But because who are you going to bring in? Who's going to come in and make a better job of him?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll open that to the comments. Who on earth's going to come in and keep us up? I think we stick with Parker. We'll do all right. He just needs to have a look at himself and just change his way a little bit.
Yeah. Here for that one as well, even as a neutral. He's. I'm tired of the same names being branded around as well. I mean, I've seen one Burnley fan say, "We'll bring Brendan Rodgers and he'll sort us out." I mean, Brendan Rodgers doesn't care about Burnley.
No, he doesn't.
There's only one thing that Brendan Rodgers cares about, and that's himself.
I think we're in a good position with Scott Parker with something like that because he doesn't strike me as somebody with a massive ego. Like company, his ego, it was huge. So I think if worst does come to worst, he won't give up on us, kind of thing, as easy as other managers would. I think that's a really big thing going for him. If we were to go down, I don't think he'd walk out the door and get a new job. I really think he'd come with us and start again.
I don't think we'll go down. I think if he just does a few tweaks, it's not a big change we're asking for. It's just a few tweaks. I don't think we'll go down. I genuinely don't.
Can I tell you a team I think will go down?
Go on.
I'll tell you a team that will go down based on what I watched this weekend. Fulham. They were absolutely garbage. Promise you. Yeah, you put Fulham in the bottom 3.
I'll tell you what, I'd have Sanderberg back off him in a breath. Just give us him back, send him home.
Yeah. No, I watched 90 minutes of Fulham, and honestly, I know we had 3 disallowed, but yeah, they could have been 5 or 6. They were that bad. Right. Let's move on this on a little bit. I'm sorry to bring this up, and I promise we won't ever talk about this again. But we have had closure on the Hannibal situation this week, so I do want to kind of get your thoughts on this, and in particular the official reply from Preston North End. I'm not going to read all of this out, but the key paragraph, which has got many Burnley fans' backs up, is Mulliton has always pleaded his innocence of the charge and continues to do so. We continue to be fully supportive of our player. We note the FA offers no moral judgment, was not premeditated, nor any comment about his general character. The outcome was determined on the balance of probabilities. John, I'll come to you because you've spoken really well on this in the past, if that's okay. I know all of you, the rest of you have, but were you disappointed with what Preston put out?
I think it's beyond shocking. I think but to be fair, they might as well, like I said when we were all talking, they might as well just translate it into they just don't really care what's happened. We care about people, but we don't when it concerns one of our own. I don't think it should be like that. I think even if it is one of your own, it's like having your friends. Like my friends, for example, if they were to do something wrong, I would call them out on it quite happily and think nothing of it. I do think that Preston have been, it's spineless, isn't it? Let's call it what it is. That statement was spineless. They should have been a bit more Well, a bit more welcoming, maybe. What if you are a person of colour now and you read that and you think, oh, is that just acceptable now at Preston? Maybe I don't want to go down to Preston because I don't feel welcome as a person there. That's all that screams to me. I don't think it works on either side. I don't think it works coming from one side or coming from the other. Let's just throw it out altogether. Because I've seen, like I did, again mentioned in the messengers, that people were trying to spin the narrative now, and then they were like racial slurs on the other side. It doesn't work. Racism doesn't beat racism. Just pack it in, everyone. It's took its course of action. This whole thing of he's not been found guilty, he's been found guilty, hasn't he? It's like, for example, oh, what are you in jail for, mate? Well, I didn't actually do anything, but I'm in here anyway. Do you know, it's like one of them. He's obviously done something, hasn't he? They wouldn't have banned him because he wouldn't have had grounds to ban him. So it's took its course. I think he's a vile little man anyway. I've told you this before. He bites people. He racially abuses people. He's not a nice man. He shouldn't be in football to start with. But I think it should be as a coalition now from both clubs to say, look, the truth has come out. This is what it is. We support that. That's going to be his punishment, and we're almost apologetic to Hannibal because he was the one ultimately affected by this.
Is 9 games enough, Connor?
If it was up to me, I'd just ban him forever. But obviously, we can't do that. 9 games is a lot, especially with him being one of their star players this season. Then again, one half of me thinks I still think more, and obviously not to the extent of banning forever, which I think most Burnley fans would, obviously, if they could. But it's 50-50. One thing
Well,
that is it. Go on.
no, carry on. Go on.
I want to hear your point.
Right, what are we going to say? He should just lose his job. If I walk up to somebody at work and racially abuse him, I won't have a job. So why does he have one?
Exactly. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It disappoints that they've got the chance here of Preston to, that we have this narrative, people taking the knee, say no to racism, kick it out, all these campaigns. And they're saying like the balance of probabilities is just a random, something that's never happened before. That is in civil law, decides almost every case. In criminal law, I appreciate it's beyond reasonable doubt. But in civil law, which are cases which I heard every day, up and down the country, massive multi-million-pound decisions and various other decisions are decided on the balance of probabilities. So this isn't a rare thing. This is something that happens day in, day out. And an arbitration has heard all the evidence and they've decided on the balance of probabilities that that's what he did. Now, for Preston to turn around and stick by this rather than go through these campaigns of kick it out, say no to racism, report it, all these things, it just seems so disingenuous. Why do they even run these campaigns? Just forget about them. You've got to have the courage of conviction. Yeah, if it was one of our own, would we be defending him? You might take a more charitable view on it, but at the end of the day, there's been a panel of people who say that's what he did, and for Preston to come out with that, it's just classless, isn't it?
Yeah, its actions speak louder than words. Don't do kick it out, don't do the knee and all this and that, and then do nothing about it when you
forget about it. There's no point.
Yeah, there's been some odd responses online, including this one from a Sun journalist who says shocking decision. And then up the Clarets rightly pointed out, saying a proven racist is banned. How on earth can you consider that, a shocking decision? So well done, fans that are calling it out. Quick question for you all then: the next Championship game is live on Sky on the Friday. It's Preston versus Blackburn. Gordon, who do you want to win?
Who do I want to? I want there to be 6 red cards either side. I want it to be called off. I want it to be like that West Brom Sheffield United game years ago, where nobody gets anything from it, nobody gets any points, and then everyone's arguing at the end of it between them. That'd do me well.
Okay. Joking aside, though, let us know what you think in the comments, and we hope Hannibal has obviously had the support from the club, and it's we have to think about the player in this. Of course, of this as well. Right, the letter F we're up to then in our A to Z this week. This is because we're talking about the Fair Play League this year. Where do you think Burnley are in the Fair Play League, Connor?
I reckon. Is it in terms of top being dirtiest or top being?
Yeah, the top being the dirtiest. Yeah.
I reckon we're top 5.
Yeah, I'd expect that. Yeah, but you're not. You are 14th. You are.
I'll take that.
1 red card, 15 yellow cards, one of the lowest yellow card counts in the whole division. Yeah, does that shock you, Connor?
It does, because it seems like every single game we have about at least 3 red cards. 3 yellow cards. So I mean, I'll take it. We're not a dirty team, but Again, I want to be a bit dirty. Come on.
I was going to say, yeah,
Scott Parker needs to work on that, getting more yellow cards.
absolutely.
Go
Yeah,
on.
Chelsea are the dirtiest, of course, because they've had so many red cards. Right.
Maybe the toffees in there.
We're the 6 dirtiest. There you go.
6. There we are.
Yeah.
Just colour be surprised. There we are.
Yes. There we go. Wait till Forest get up there. Forest will be there in the next one. Tell you. Right, letter F then for Burnley. Who gets in it for you? Who or what gets in it for you? Apologies. Thanks for all the advice on E last week as well. Dan, F is for
Fan Advisory Board. No, it's not. The Fab Board. If you're not a Burnley fan, you'll know what that's all about. It's absolute nonsense. No, my F is actually a player from the mid-90s. Again, I'm going to that era. He scored in the playoff semi-finals against Plymouth. He's always on the board, on the screen, doing his dance before every game. He's a guy called John Francis. He's a legend amongst the game. He's been the halftime speaker once or twice as well. There you are. So that's who I will pick, John Francis.
Okay. Jake, Connor?
Well, I was going to say Dan Fraser, but obviously let's not go there. We're going to go. Just give him his moment. Hold on. It's something we were well known for under Daesh, and I've gone 4-4-2. We were known for it. Brexit ball. I was going to say B, Brexit ball, but we'll go F for 4-4-2. We're going to go a bit different today.
Okay. Right, Jordan.
Oh, I'm going to say, just because I vividly remember how good he were for us back in the day, I'm going to say Stephen Fletcher. I think he were absolutely brilliant for us back in the day. But I think Connor's knocked it out the park with that one. I think that just embodies Burnley.
There is one more when you go on Twitter, especially if we've beaten the Premier League team. And the other thing you could say, I can't say it in its full term because it's a family show, but it's effing Burnley. If you ever go on, whenever we've beaten a better, a top 6 team or a Premier League team, you just get all these tweets saying effing Burnley. I can't believe we've lost to effing Burnley. But I think 4-4-2 should go in.
Okay.
I do.
All right, Brill. I'm sure someone was in the FA Cup. I'm sure is going to be mentioned in the comments as well. So I'll throw that in there. Throw it there as well. Right. Thank you very much, you three, and thank you, of course, very much for watching. We'll give you a week off and talk about Burnley next week. We'll be back here to look at how we've done against Chelsea at Turf Moor in a couple of weeks' time. Join us for that as we go on to letter G as well. Have a good week. Thanks, everyone.